Thanks for watching The Personal History of Games. I'm your host, Eric Kanius, and this week Robyn steps in as guest host to interview me, Eric, as I thought it would be worthwhile for you to get to know your host better as we go through the personal history books together. With my tumultuous upbringing, we stick mostly to the PS1 era as we talk brothers, exploding CDs, and mod chips while playing GTA 2 for the PS1. Here's that conversation. Gotta put my name from the time.
Ooh, why did you pick this game, Eric?
I picked this game, well, one, because there's a lot of other games in my past have been chosen for other episodes of the show and have been recorded on ericandkelby.com. But this one I have a very particular memory of, this game and the situation around it in my household, so I thought I'd just start here. We'll probably stick around the PS1 era of my gaming because there's a lot of it, and I don't want to tell all my stories that will probably come up in the show as well.
Okay, so what is the PS1 era of your life?
It is a lot. So before we even got the PS1, because we didn't have a lot of money, my brother Tyson and I did chores in order to make money, or in order to earn money to get a PS1. We had this big list of chores, and everything had a dollar amount to it. We knew the price of the PS1. And we would just do chores. Actually, to get full credit, it was mostly Tyson doing the chores because I was young and lazy and a dummy. But Tyson was dedicated to doing chores. So we're cleaning up dog poop and mowing the lawn and cleaning the house, doing the dishes, and everything had a dollar amount. We were keeping track of it. And it took months to get the PS1, a long time.
Wait, what about your other brothers?
They were older and not as interested. They weren't in, because Tyson and I, being the youngest two, were the ones that paired off, and the other three were kind of their own group. I have 4 older brothers, so when you get to that age range of 9 years from the oldest to the youngest, you kind of split off like you would in school or something. It's just different groups of people type deal.
Yeah, that's fair. Did you, did the older crew of brothers play video games at all?
Yeah, they did. They were involved. Because they probably played in the friends. I don't know what they were doing. I honestly don't know the personal lives of my brothers at that age because I was just 8.
Oh,
maybe,
that's fair. Yeah.
Or 6 or 7. So I was quite young, and yeah, I don't know. They were in their teens doing teen stuff in the 90s when you could do whatever you want. Yeah, so we eventually got this PS1 and played it a whole lot. But the story with this game, why I wanted to bring this game, I have a very visual memory in general, but the visual memory of this is there was a good year and a half, maybe 2 years, where we didn't have a color TV. We only had a 13-inch black and white TV that my grandpa found behind his apartment building.
Wow.
Because our TV broke and we couldn't afford a new one.
Aw, that's sad.
I mean, that's life.
Yeah.
When I say we didn't have money, I mean it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so we got the PS1 before the TV broke. So I played Final Fantasy VII on a black and white TV for most of it. So a lot of my memories for PS1 are in black and white. And then this game came up and we had it. Oh, there's a burp button and a fart button.
Oh my God, really?
Yep.
Wow.
Well, that's the rest of this video. But yeah, so I played a lot of games in black and white on a 13-inch TV in the dining room because the broken TV was still in the living room. And so we just put the little TV in the dining room. We can watch Big Brother on it. We can pick up 3 channels from the antenna and had the adapter to play games. Okay,
wait. So you were how old?
6 or 7. Let's say 7 to 8.
Okay, and I'm just having one of those moments where it's did those things happen at the same time in history? You were watching Big Brother?
I think I'm conflating, or not conflating, I'm adding 2 things together.
Okay.
So after the later part is we did get a color TV eventually.
Yay.
How do I shoot?
It seems all you can do is fart. You're just shooting out your butt.
Yes, there's a way of throwing these Molotov cocktails they gave me.
There you go.
I don't know how I did that.
What are are those people?
Yes, these are all people.
Okay, so interrupt you quickly.
Yeah.
How could you possibly understand what's going on in black and white?
You get used to it, but actually there was a point in Final Fantasy VII where I got stuck because the foreground of the scene kind of all blended together and I couldn't tell what was going on.
Oh no.
And so I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do for this part. And I like spending hours running around just being like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And so I brought my memory card and game over to a friend's house who had a PS1 and a color TV, like rich people. And then I was able to see there was a character in the foreground that I could not see because they blended in with the environment in black and white.
Oh my god, that's so frustrating.
Yeah. And then I did it, and then I moved on. I went back home, continued playing it. Yeah, so we had this black and white TV. It's been like over a year of playing this black and white TV. And I remember coming home from school, and my brother was playing PS1. He was playing GTA, and I like looked inside, and there was a new TV in the living room, color TV, seeing this game in color for the first time.
Whoa.
It was like I was in the movie Pleasantville, and someone had added color to the TV, and I could finally see color. And
Did it make the game better or worse?
better? Please. This game in black and white, like it's already so minimal in its aesthetic, pretty much. Like it's just flat.
Right.
This weird top-down view of a GTA. Seeing it in black and white forever, and then finally seeing it in color, being like, whoa, it's like absolutely mind-blowing. Better than any graphical upgrade any console could bring. Adding color was amazing. So that's the memory I have with this specific game, but there's just a lot happening with that PS1. I feel like in my memory it feels like we had it for 20 years, but we definitely didn't.
How long did you have it for?
'Cause we got a PS2, and then eventually, as they do, my older brothers destroyed everything. So it got broken or stolen or gone. It disappeared at some point.
What?
Yeah. That happens when you have older brothers and you have no money and you need something to do.
Okay, so the PS1 disappeared.
Yes.
The one that you and your brother worked so hard to
Yes.
get, and then the older brothers who did not help at all destroyed it.
Yep.
Ugh. This makes me really glad I'm an only child.
Yep. But that's just life. That was most of my toys also just being destroyed for fun because they're bored.
Oh my god.
Yep. Anyway, this is not a Drag My Brothers podcast. I guess my childhood talking about it will just turn into that.
Yeah, I feel like that's not uncommon with siblings.
Yes. I don't dislike them. We're all on fine terms, and we were never the brothers to, like, at least from my experience, not the brothers to have like long feuds and like really dislike each other. We'd have our fights because we're in a household with no money.
Right.
And there's 7 of us, including my parents, when they were both there. But yeah, we're all still talking today, and that's a win, I would say.
Definitely. So this is a single player game.
Yes.
You played with your brothers, right?
Yeah, Tyson and I would play some games
Tyson
together.
especially. So like, did you guys just take turns, or were you more of like the backseat driver / watcher?
I feel like we'd take turns more. And sometimes we'd hang out and watch each other play. Like Final Fantasy VII was the other big game that we played a lot of because it was such a long game. I just remember Tyson and I both having saves on that game, and we'd each play it on our own time. I'm sure we fought over the PlayStation at times, being like, I want to play, blah, blah, blah. Mom said it's my turn to play, type deal. But no. Fuck you.
What did he do? Did he try
stole
to...
my wallet.
Really? They try to steal your wallets
Yeah,
in
they
these
mug you.
ones?
The streets
What?
are dangerous in Liberty City. Yeah.
I thought you were the only dangerous one. That's funny.
It's a mad world out there. To steal his gang car. Because I remember it being one of the fastest. Yeah. Yeah, like overall, we were pretty good at just being like, we play at our own times because we're doing different things. Or Tyson would go outside a lot more than I would.
Right.
So I would have the ability to play it more. That's kind of why I feel like it turned into my console more, even though Tyson rightfully earned it. He would just spend more time outside, and I was not that type of kid.
That's
I
fair.
was an indoor child, so you wouldn't lose me. Yeah, because I have multiple memories of sharing on this console. So one is playing Final Fantasy VII. Tyson and I each had our own save, And then I was maybe a couple hours in and accidentally saved over his save.
Oh,
and he
no.
was dozens of hours in.
Oh.
So I like painstakingly played through the game as quickly as possible to get to the points that he was at least around the time that it listed, like 10 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
And made a new save for him. And then created that for him to make up for my mistake. So that was sweet of me.
Did he notice, or did you tell him?
Probably. I would have told him because I would have had to tell him I saved over save and that I was working to fix it.
Right.
Yeah, it did come up because it was so long. I couldn't it was a couple hours. I got to fix this. No, it was like, yeah, I got to fix this and make up for the time.
And he didn't get too mad at you?
No, I don't remember any sort of big fight. He was probably upset, but I fixed it, so we're all good.
Aw, well, that's a nice brother.
Yeah.
See, not all of the stories are bad.
Yes. And then speaking of bad stories,
Oh, God.
We had a Gran Turismo, the racing game, for the PlayStation 1, and my brothers and I were all begging for a racing wheel for it to make it more realistic and fun and cool. And we got that for Christmas. There was a joint gift for like all 5 of us, which in retrospect, bad idea, because what had happened was we wouldn't stop fighting over it, like big bad fights, that my parents ended up returning it on the day after Boxing Day.
Ouch.
I don't recall a replacement gift ever arriving, so it was just gone because we couldn't stop fighting over it.
Ouch.
Yep.
I mean, I would probably do the same thing as a parent, especially if it was like 5 kids that you have to stop from fighting. Like, that's a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot of fighting, very quickly ruining Christmas.
What a sad Christmas, though.
Yeah, you're telling me. So, yeah, see, my stories aren't all hunky-dory.
Okay, did you get a driving wheel after,
No.
or have you had one since?
No, that was it. That was my
It
only...
just ruined it for you.
Yeah. Well, like, Gran Turismo was probably the biggest racing game we played, or I played even, and the racing wheels were never a big deal for me because I didn't play many other games after that.
Right.
But that also definitely put a sour taste in my mouth about it. Thinking back on it makes me laugh.
Well, at least you can laugh about it now.
Of course. What else could you do?
Be sad and bitter forever.
Who's to say I'm not?
So, what would you say your top 5 PS1 games were?
5.
Well, you said you played a lot.
It's true. I got killed by the conveyor belt. It probably took me to the meat packing plant.
Did you get turned into a hamburger?
Probably, or a hot dog. There's a mission in this game where you turn people into hot
Oh,
dogs.
that's gross.
Yeah, you just get a school bus or something, or you get like a regular bus and pick up a bunch of people. And you take them to the meat packing plant. This game's pretty brutal. From what that's like the one mission I remember, and the smiley faces of the gang in the corner there.
I feel like people are really hard on the newer GTAs for being, I don't know, vulgar, and because they have scripts now and characters and everything like that. But like some of the stuff that's already come up in this old one seems way worse.
Yeah, I mean, they can get away with more. It's very arcadey and like a lot more arcade type missions.
Right.
And then they would like push the envelope with their edgy, this is like 96 or 97.
That's fair.
GTA 2, I'm not sure when it came out, maybe 98. But yeah, like there's a lot edgier humor, no tact.
No tact. But yeah, back to what we were talking about.
Top 5 PS1 games. Final Fantasy 7 is definitely in there.
Number 1 or just in?
It's in there. Let's start with a list of 5. I don't know if I can number them. Siphon Filter was a big game for me as well. It's kind of like a spy game, James Bondy-ish type thing.
Okay.
Am I talking to this person?
That's a person?
Yes, that's a person.
It looks like a vending machine. Oh, it's a phone. It's a phone booth.
It is a phone booth.
Okay. I just was like, that's a very large person.
They have a very weird head. I think Ratchet & Clank is PS2, but the games before, like Crash Bandicoot those type of games, the jumpy ones.
Okay.
Actually, so at one point my mom asked if she said a family friend wants to borrow the PS1 to see if they want to get that for their kid for Christmas, and I was surprisingly, I said, okay, no problem, and lent the PS1 way to a stranger without even thinking of it. But then on Christmas, it was revealed that it actually went to my uncle, who installed a mod chip for it, which means we can play burnt games.
Fun.
So you can just rent a game, burn it in your computer's CD burner, and then you'd have it. And so so the gift was the modded PS1 and like a CD case with a bunch of already burnt games in it, and that's where GTA came from, and a bunch of other ones.
That's cool. That's a cool uncle.
Yeah, so it was very nice. It was a very smart and crafty gift for people who wanted to play games and couldn't afford them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so then I would just rent games, go to my friend's house who had a CD burner, burn the game, and then that'd be it. Because luckily I had a rich enough friend who have a computer with a CD burner.
Nice.
So I'm trying to remember what games came out. I really like Driver 2 or 3. I guess that's technically a racing game, but you're driving around from point A to point B to finish missions.
Okay.
But in 3D and not like this. Was that 3 games, 4 games?
Okay, so it was Final Fantasy, the Cypher one.
Siphon Filter, yeah.
And then that one.
Yeah, and
I'm
the
assuming
Crash Bandicoot of sorts.
Yeah, the Crash Bandicoot.
Or Spyro. Let's say Spyro.
Ooh, Spyro's fun.
Spyro's very good.
Yeah, I've definitely played some Spyro. What about this one? Does it make your top 5?
No, like it's fine. And also when I chose this game, so I got to give props to everyone who appears on this podcast previously and in the future. It was hard to pick a game and to think of one that was like, this is the game I want to play on this show that represents my significant intro to games.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was difficult. This one I just had a very specific memory of, so I wanted to start there. When I picked this game, it reminded me that we had a computer at various points in our household, just randomly. I don't know where these computers came from. They were like old computers, but one of them I got like the demo for GTA 1 on, so I was playing that on the computer. It's very clunky. But then the other thing is in the disk drive, there was the Police Quest games. So like in this random computer we had in the disk drive was just a set of 5 games. So it was Police Quest 1 through 5, which is Sierra, who made a bunch of adventure games at the time. And Police Quest they're definitely not as well known as Space Quest or King's Quest or any of their other adventure games. But for some reason, this computer had this game in this disk drive, and so I played an assload of that as well.
That sounds fun. I miss early computer games. Some of them were very silly and very good.
Yes, they're very weird. I would have brought it, but ACAB, and I don't want to play a police game.
Fair. Do you remember when, for a while, they were giving away, dunky little computer games in, cereal boxes?
Yes, absolutely, because I have a story about that as well.
Ooh, yeah, let's hear that one.
So, yeah, the CD games we got. The game Sorry. I'll try to say it not Canadian. We got the game Sorry in a cereal box, and I was playing that. Actually, no, I installed it. I wasn't playing it. I was kind of dicking around on the computer. I had downloaded a game from Kazaa. I downloaded the BattleBots game from Kazaa, and illegally, I think the statute of limitations is passed. I was playing that and just kind of dicking around, and then the game froze. And then the disk drive spun up where the Sorry game was in the disk drive. It was not trying to load it or anything. The disk drive just spun up. The disk spun so fast that the disk exploded.
Oh my god!
And blew off the front of the plastic little front of the CD disk drive, and threw shards of the game everywhere.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, it was nutty to say the least. So I shut down the computer and went, And it was funny that it was the game Sorry. It was very Canadian of it to apologize as it exploded on the front of the
shot
computer.
Everywhere.
And luckily it was not one of those computers that went on the desktop, on the desk underneath the monitor, or else that could have been very dangerous.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and then later they tested that on Mythbusters, being like, it could happen, but very rare. It happened to me.
Yeah, and you're like, no, it does. I know.
It did, yeah. It was very strange. So that was my experience with cereal games.
That's hilarious. Fine, we're not that terrifying.
No, it's just risking life and limb to play video games, apparently. Fighting with brothers, getting attacked by shards of disc, the destruction of property.
Just a chaotic start to your gaming life.
Yeah, I went through a lot of shit. I was playing some very slow and poorly made BattleBots game that I downloaded illegally because I had to, and I just wanted to play the game. Yeah. Like it was like a clashing of everything all at once was that situation. And playing on this family computer that I don't know where it came from.
So how did your mom feel about these incidents? Was she ever involved in your gaming?
Yeah, like here and there, very minimally. Like she was fine with the games. Again, like if you listen to Robyn's episode, my parents were busy working and trying to keep us afloat, especially my mom. So
Yeah.
the TV and video games was our parentage, and that's fine. I turned out okay. Yeah, so she was fine with the games. Sometimes she would, I'm trying to think of a game that she played around this era. I don't know if there's one in particular. I feel like she might have tried the Spyros and stuff just to give her a go. But she likes her Mahjong games on the computer. She played a lot of Spider Solitaire on the computer that we had. Just a certain type of solitaire, like Cascade or whatever.
So she likes puzzle games.
She likes
and-
the card games, puzzle games, because she still plays Mahjong
Cool.
a lot, and like her weird little fish puzzles. I don't know.
Did she ever get into Sudoku?
No. I feel like that's a different type of mental puzzle.
Yeah.
It's less visual. She might be visual like me. Those mental puzzles just don't click. But yeah, the big memory of my mom playing games is skipping forward quite a bit to the PS3 when I got Rock Band, and I was able to convince my mom and brothers to play Rock Band with me. And like we've never played games as a family, especially not video games.
Right.
So getting everyone together and the least likely of people together to sing and to play guitar and drums was very hilarious. And it's my mom, so like something goes wrong, she starts laughing, and then it's like my brother who's in the reserves singing.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was going to ask. I'm really curious. Like, who did what? I'm so curious to know.
Yeah, so the one that I remember, the song that we did, I don't remember what song, but I remember Dayton singing. Dayton's in the reserves, and he was singing, and then like my mom playing guitar, me playing drums. It was just very silly. Yeah, so that's also like a very clear memory in my head of us being in the living room playing this new game and getting everyone together to play it, and everyone being interested to play because it was so different and kind of it made more sense than the traditional video game with the traditional controller.
Right.
It's like, okay, here's I think it's proximity to playing a actual instrument that you've seen before.
Yeah.
And playing music that you've heard before. So it's familiar enough. That was fun.
Yeah, I know like a couple of the times that we have went to visit your mom and your brothers, they've played some games together. I think it's made more easy by the type of games that are out now.
Yeah. Yeah, right now, like we could play Jackbox.
Yeah.
And before that, the other PS3 game we played was a game called Pain, and it was a downloadable game where you're shooting humans off of a slingshot into like a scenario. So the one's like a downtown scenario, and you're shooting this person off into like construction, and then everything collapses, and you're trying to cause the most damage with this person. And for some reason, like my brothers got hooked on watching and playing it, and we just passed the controller around. Like we played it at Christmas. They got me to bring my PS3 over to my dad's on Christmas, and we all played Pain, and it was strange. Especially like, yeah, that game is like so minimal, and like no one knows about it or remembers it anymore. That was a Christmas staple for a year. It was, yeah, very weird. But that sort of thing can bring us together. Sometimes we can find that common. And now my brother has the Switch and a bunch of controllers, so he tries to find those party games for us to play, and we're all pretty down for it as we all play our different types of games.
Yeah, I remember your mom like losing it when Darian tried to get everyone to play this like weird puzzle, like working together game with like blocks, but people had to like stand certain places and stuff. What was that one?
Death Squared.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a newer one for the Switch. The Switch has some pretty good co-op ones, but yeah, that one was the most communicating we've had to do. And watching it all fall apart was very funny to my mom. I think I also got everyone to play Gang Beasts at one point, which is a good one, and that also made my mom lose it.
Oh yeah, that one's fun.
Yes. Yeah. So like in recent years, as we've become adults and I have less things to do, when we could hang out all at once, it was fun to pop on a game and play it, and my mom would watch as we'd all screw around and yell at each other, but still be fun, and that's nice.
That is nice.
Kind of come full circle in a positive way rather than like the worry for a little bit there. At least personally, the worry would be like me being one of those untoward gamer nerds.
Oh no.
Because like I said, I didn't go outside a lot, and that was in this era, particularly the PS1 era.
Yeah.
It was what do you call that? A crossroads. It was a crossroads, or I could have gone one direction or other. And I was very into games. I played a lot of them. I read a lot about them. I watched videos about them. But then at one point, I was just like, I need to make sure this isn't the only thing I like.
That's fair. What do you think pushed you in that direction?
I don't know. I think it was partly the types of game video I was watching, where you could tell. I still am watching these people today to name drop people like Giant Bomb and Jeff and Vinny on Giant Bomb, and the GameSpot's videos were the ones that I ended up on, and the people that made them did not seem like the type of people. They were not the type of people that only liked games,
right?
And so their perspective on them and the way they talked about them was less obsessive than a lot of the gaming community, or like the bad part of the gaming community.
Right.
That obsession is a real problem. And that being the only thing, I'm chasing this man down.
You are. You're just going across the entire city to get this boy.
He stole my wallet, but he's faster than me.
He's very fast.
Get back. I don't have a gun. Hey, folks, if you're enjoying this podcast, Being to Media has another new podcast I think you'll love. It's called Do We Like, and I co-host it along with my partner, Robyn. Robyn, do you want to explain the show?
Thanks, Eric. Hi, I'm Robyn, co-host of Do We Like, a podcast where Eric and I debate common people, places, and things to decide if we like them or need to leave them. Join us each week as we debate controversial topics like pickles, underwear, bubble tea, and Queen Elizabeth I? Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, or come find us at dowelike.com.
Okay, yeah, but that leads me to my next question, which is you say, like, you played games a lot, and but you didn't. You were an indoor kid.
Yeah.
So did you play games with friends much?
Yeah. I had a few friends that would go over to their house to play the games. I remember a friend getting an Xbox when it came out brand new, so that was the only place I could play it. And we played Halo a lot. That's pretty big. Like a friend who lived across the park from me, so within walking distance, one of those classic friends. But yeah, like playing Halo a lot, and that was very fun. The split screen games were cool.
How is like playing games with your friends different from playing them with your brothers?
Well, there's a lot less baggage. So that's one. But also, like, they just had I don't remember a lot of like split screen co-op games on the PS1.
Yeah.
And we didn't get a PS2 for quite a while, a few years after it came out. So like the time to play those co-op games was at my friends when they were able to afford the new consoles.
Right.
So that's where I played. So that's kind of how it grew into me playing co-op games with friends rather than siblings.
That makes sense. And that kind of like explains how you got to how you game now.
Yeah.
You tend to favor multiplayer with friends. Although you and your brothers were playing Battlegrounds mobile for a while.
Yeah, there's some games now my brothers will get it way into, and Battlegrounds is a very huge game, and I had already been playing on the PC a whole bunch and got way into it, and then it made it so big that eventually my brothers saw it and started playing it too, and that's when you know a game is very huge.
Has made it.
Yes. So then I was able to join them with that, and that was fun and a much different experience than a gun.
Much different experience than a gun.
Yes. Where'd he go? There you go. No, please.
Just cornering this kid and trying to shoot at him.
Yeah. I got my wallet back.
He's a feisty one.
Yeah. Feisty one.
Do you have any like memorable PS1 gaming moments with friends?
Not particularly. Like just a lot of the games I remember are those single player games. I remember playing them in my living room a lot. Yeah, I can't say that I played the PS1 a lot with friends. I know I definitely did. Like I remember playing Abe's Odyssey in the living room, and my brothers coming home with the new Wu-Tang Clan CD and putting it on because we had the stereo in the living room as well. So I'd be listening to Wu-Tang Clan while playing Abe's Odyssey. So those two are forever entwined in my head.
That is like the most 90s thing I can imagine.
Yep.
It was like one of them wearing one of those like hemp seashell necklaces.
I don't know if they were ever puka shell necklaces,
Yeah.
but someone probably had a visor.
Those Exco pants, the really baggy ones. Was anyone sporting those?
They definitely had big pants for sure.
Definitely had big pants.
Darian wore the visor for a hot second there.
Yes.
The golf visor. They had frosted tips.
Oh my God, really?
Yes, they dyed their own hair. They pierced their own ears.
I love this so much.
Yes, if you got a picture of us in the 90s, particularly them in the 90s, it would look like exactly what you'd expect.
That's amazing.
Yeah, just being, I feel like I probably made up the memory in my head, but just like, yeah, them piercing their ears in the basement and coming upstairs to grab paper towel to cover to collect the blood.
Oh my God. Boys.
Yeah, yes, if you really like boil down the main beats of teenage years of Five Boys, it's a lot of the tropes that you'd expect. You watch Malcolm in the Middle, and it's a lot of that.
So back to this game. You still play GTA today.
Yes, I do. I like GTA. I like the modern ones. I played a lot of 3 and a lot of all the other ones, actually. I pause. But GTA 5, still playing with friends, still forcing my friends to play it. Some of them actually like it. But I feel for how huge these games are. They are kind of a specific taste,
Right.
especially with the way they play. And the newer ones in particular, they have a very specific feel to them that a lot of people don't like, but they're still like the biggest selling games in the world. Or not in the world, but biggest selling like single player traditional game on disc.
Do you feel like they have much in common with like their origins anymore?
A little bit. Like, other than the angle and the perspective being different, it's still a lot. Like, I'm still pressing triangle to go in and out of cars, which is exactly what you do on now.
So they didn't bother changing things that weren't broken.
Yes. But you mean you jump with R1, which is weird. There's quite a lineage with these games, and there is a lot of shared stuff. They play quite similarly.
So do you think if like you would be as into them if you didn't play these like original ones?
Yes. Yeah, because I know a lot of people that didn't play the first 2,
Yeah.
and that's fine. You're not missing anything if you don't, but I had even more connection with them when I played 3, and it was the first 3D version.
That's
And
cool.
I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. It's almost like they added color to the TV. Almost.
So we've like stuck mostly to the PS1 and your chaotic beginning to gaming with your many brothers.
Yep.
But how does that get you, from playing PS1 on a black and white TV where you can't always make out all of the features to, now you're someone even just with like a lot of different tech surrounding gaming and a podcast about gaming. How do you get there?
Yeah. Well, 1, you get a job so you can afford things.
Step 1.
Step 1, get job.
Get job.
Step 2, try and be frugal, but be very bad at it. Step 3, do not profit.
Yeah, profit?
Yeah, like the podcast will kind of bounce around here. The podcast came from that feeling that I was talking about earlier of that crossroads again, where gaming could have went a lot, not darker, but just a lot more oppressive by being obsessed by it and be more controlling over my
like
life.
toxic.
Yeah, that toxic relationship with anything, really. If you do too much of it, it's not great. And so this podcast is to show people's relationships with games that are not toxic and that are completely normal, and normalize a wide variety of people's relationship with games. But how we got here was playing games a whole bunch, and then growing a conscience, but then also
Growing a conscience. It took a while to develop. You were a late conscience bloomer.
yes, I had 4 older brothers of varying levels of conscious. I'm looking for a role model. I just kid if any of the brothers are listening.
Ouch.
Jordan, you're great. Don't worry about it.
Aw, just signal out Jordan.
No, you're all fine in your own way. Everything I say sounds sarcastic. Anyways. Yeah, and that's partly by like going to something like PAX. PAX is my first big exposure. Oh, SWAT team's here. They'll never take me alive.
Wasted.
I'm alive.
Bye.
But yeah, finally going to conventions and going to PAX and meeting human beings face to face, both the people that I watched in the videos from my childhood onwards, meeting those people and just meeting other people that play games, and the wide variety of lives they lead and what games mean to them and to different capacities of all sorts. I thought that was very important to highlight and to show, and I like listening to their stories, and the reason for the podcast is to give me more reason to hear those stories and also share them with other people.
Right.
And create a catalog of these stories and how games can mean more than just one thing and at any different level. Going to PAX, and then I was lucky enough to do the panel version of this podcast. And so like on the panel, we had Maya Coleman, who just started playing games like a few years ago with Overwatch. And that was their intro to games, but their stories were just as valid and awesome to listen to as anyone else's, and that like it's great. And I love what the medium can do and mean for people, and just the connections and the people I've been able to meet through it have been great. So it's turned into much less of a me in my room playing a game by myself to me meeting people and being able to connect with other people through this shared experience. Yeah, I don't know if that answers the question, but
No, it definitely does. It's like you were able to find a sense of community in this gaming world that wasn't kind of the really stereotypical toxic gaming communities that you sort of immediately think of when you say the term.
yeah.
Like when you say like gaming communities, a lot of people think of, these really toxic, often group of men who can be like extremely chauvinistic and trolly and stuff like that. And then you get out and meet people who are actually doing things in the industry and who love games, and they're actually super cool and diverse and have so many different experiences and perspectives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it just helps me not come to terms, but like not feel better, but it helps me like connect better with my experiences in childhood and being like, these are normal and like it's okay to have spent a bunch of time in your room playing games. It helps me to understand those better and to explore them and hear other people's stories, if that makes any sense.
It does, yeah. It's like, oh, look at there's cool, well-adjusted people who also spent their childhood the way I did.
Yes, exactly.
I have not screwed myself up to the point of no return.
Yeah, and
Thank goodness.
And not only that, I can consider it a positive experience and take positive things from that time.
Yeah.
And not just be like a blight in my past, like, oh, I was a kid that stayed in the house all day. Like, no, I had my own childhood, and that's fine. And we all had that in our own way. And mine included games. And usually games are quite vilified and other things, especially with children.
Yeah.
And how negative impact they can have on their lives. So I think exploring that and looking back on that to be like, nope, it was all good. It was good. We had fun.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And we survived. And that's what matters.
Yeah. I also I appreciate that, the, podcast has the potential to show other young gamers that there are people and communities out there that are like them and that there's space for them. Yeah, in the world of video gaming, especially, women and people of color.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to collect as many stories as possible from everyone. Get the hell away from me.
That's some good music.
Yeah, I think each car has its own song. This is coming right back to me.
This one in particular.
Shining at the side of the road.
That's exciting. What do you hope for the future of personal history of games? I don't mean in terms of financial or expansion or anything like that, but it's kind of just what you hope to accomplish with it.
I hope to collect as many stories as possible from as many different people as possible. Oh no.
Oh no.
One last time. In order to have a very large catalog to show just how wide the breadth of experiences are of people with games. It's not just a white boy sitting in his basement playing games, getting mad at the internet later. It's a lot of well-adjusted humans from many different backgrounds as you can think of. And I want to find all those people and get all their stories if they're so nice to share them. I appreciate everyone who does share their story with me and with our audience. That is very much appreciated. And adding them all to this collection of stories is important to me, and I hope important to other people. And that's what I hope for the future, is just to get more stories from as many different people as I can.
Do you have anything else that you want to promote, that you're up to, that you're doing?
No. Yes, I do.
No. Yes. What?
I'm doing a podcast with my wife. That's you.
I was wondering if you were going to bring it up, if you're just like, I don't want to be associated with this podcast.
No, of course I'm going to bring it up. I just wasn't asked what to promote. Now I am. And here we are.
All right.
It's called Do We Like, where Robyn and I debate common people, places, and things to decide whether we like them or should leave them. I can remember the whole intro almost.
I know. We're getting good.
Yeah, go to dowelike.com to hear about that. Follow me on Twitter. I'm the host of the Personal History of Games. You probably listen to that show too. Make sure to like and subscribe on all platforms. We appreciate it. And look forward to more great interviews with more great people from around the world. And thank you for listening so far. And it's great. Ta-da! It's me, Eric, your host. Now you know.
Now you know.
And now you know.
Well, thanks for sharing a little bit of your life for once.
Thank you. And thank you for doing this guest hosting to interview me.
Hopefully, I did an all right job.
You did as good as I did.
Woo!
Whatever that means.
Shrug.
But no, thank you for guest hosting. I appreciate it. And thank you everyone for listening. I thought it'd be helpful to share some stories of mine so you get to know the host better while I ask other people about their personal history games. And now here we are. Mission accomplished. Unfurl the banner.
Run into something at high speeds.
Yeah.
How far can you go straight before you hit? There it is.
No, they trapped me. You'll never get me alive. I want the other car.
Is that water or grass?
Water.
Wild.
Doesn't it look beautiful?
I thought it was grass, to be honest, for a long time, and then I realized it was moving. I was like, wait.
It's wavy grass. Out of the way. Yeah. Thank you again. I'm in a giant explosion. Here we go.
I thought you were going to explode.
Trying to.
Boop. Boom. Boom.
Thanks everyone for listening to the Personal History of Games. Thank you again, Robyn, for doing this little guest host.
And thank you for having me.
And we'll see you next time on the Personal History of Games.
Bye.
Come on, explode. Don't do me like this.
It's doing you like this.
Yeah. Get wasted, everyone. But not in the dead way. I mean the other way. If you're so inclined.
Oh, dear.
Goodbye. You can hear more of the Personal History of Games on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, or wherever else you listen to podcasts. If you enjoyed this episode and want to help us out, please leave us a rating and review. For updates, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at PHOGPod, or check out our website at personalhog.com. The show is hosted and produced by Eric Kanius, executive produced by Robyn Lands. Do We Like is brought to you by Beamed Media, a Canadian podcast network.